Hi everyone! Today we are making red velvet cake without the artificial food coloring. This vibrant red color is made from the fresh beets. If you are worried about the taste of beets in your cake, there's no strange or funny taste at all. Beets not only enhance the red color of the cake, but also impart tenderness and natural sweetness. Deeply moist, earthy, and flavorful, this cake is paired with traditional almond frosting, which is very light and fluffy. Now, let me show you how to make it. Beetroot contains natural red color called betanin. This molecule can break down when exposed to oxygen or air over time, and even if you store it in the fridge. Once they are broken down, the red beets will lose their red color instead turning brown. So make sure you prepare the beets on the same day you are going to make the cake. To make the puree, wash the beets under running water to clean it of any dirt. Pat dry. Apply some oil and wrap tightly in foil. Then bake in the preheated 200 degrees Celsius for 1 hour or until the beets are really soft. Once it's cooked, peel off the skin. Using a high-speed blender or food processor, puree until smooth. You can add 2 tablespoons of water to help the blending process. Set aside 210 grams for the cake and let it cool completely. For the baking pan, I am using 3 15 cm shallow round sandwich tin. Lightly grease with oil and place parchment paper at the bottom of each pan. Shallower batter depth means shorter baking time. This is to ensure that the cake is not overbaked, causing the color to change. It is important to use raw cacao powder and not Dutch process to get the right red color. Raw cacao contains antioxidants called anthocyanins. When this substance reacts with acidic ingredients such as buttermilk or vinegar, the color will change to dark red. In terms of appearance, Dutch processed cocoa has a deeper chocolate color and taste, while raw cacao appears lighter in color and has a pleasant citrusy flavor. Make sure all ingredients, including milk, eggs, and beet puree, are at room temperature to get a smoother and more homogeneous batter. For the buttermilk, simply combine milk with vinegar. Let it sit for 5 minutes to curdle and thicken before using. And make sure that you sieve the dry ingredients before you mix them with the wet ingredients. When the batter is not mixed properly, areas of concentrated leavening agent in the batter can create holes in your cake. After sifting, stir with a whisk to ensure everything is mixed evenly. Now, let's start making the batter. Combine the beets puree along with salt, eggs, sugar, oil, and buttermilk. Whisk until all the sugar completely dissolves. Add the sifted dry ingredients and whisk again until the batter really smooth. Unlike common recipe which is use baking soda, this recipe relies on baking powder as leavening agent. By changing the leaven from baking soda to baking powder, I was able to get the color right. So be sure you are using baking powder, not soda, or you will get some weird shade of brownish or pinkish gray instead of vibrant red. Scrub the sides and bottom of the bowl to ensure everything is evenly mixed. Then I will divide the batter evenly between the pans. Slowly pour the batter from a position above 15 centimeters from the pan so that the excess bubbles can burst. Using a skewer, make this circular motion to flatten the batter and break the large bubbles. Tap the pan to remove excess bubbles. Then immediately bake in the preheated 160 degrees Celsius oven on a middle rack for 30 to 35 minutes. Resist the urge to bake until your cake is done. Opening the door while you bake will release some of the heat. This can lead to the cake being too damp in the middle or even falling. Once it's done, Let the cake cool in the pan for about 5 minutes, then flip onto a cooling rack to cool completely. Ermine frosting, also known as boiled milk frosting or flour buttercream, is the traditional frosting used on a red velvet cake, not the cream cheese icing that many of us are familiar with. To make it, first we need to prepare the roux starter. In a non-stick pan, combine flour and sugar. Cook over medium heat. Let the flour toast for about 2 minutes. Stir constantly so that the bottom doesn't burn. Once the flour has been toasting, you can start adding the milk. Slowly pour and stir continuously until smooth. Make sure there are no lumps left in the corners and bottom of the pan. Continue cook over medium-high heat. The mixture will gradually thicken, resembling a custard. Once it starts to bubble gently, remove from the heat. Strain through a fine mesh sieve to get rid of any lumps. Place a piece of plastic wrap directly on the surface to prevent skin forming. Then store in the fridge for at least 1 hour to chill. You can make it 2 days in advance, and if you do, make sure that you take out the roux and butter from the fridge and let it sit at room temperature for at least 30 minutes before you start whipping the butter, otherwise it's going to solidify your butter. Now I will beat the butter on medium-high speed for 3 minutes until pale and creamy. Add vanilla and salt, mix well. Then I will add the room temperature roux in 4 batches. And beat again on medium speed for another 5 minutes until very smooth and pale in color. Don't forget to occasionally scrub down the sides and bottom of the bowl to make sure everything is mixed well. So fluffy, silky smooth, delicious frosting. If you are not a fan of overly sweet icing, you will love the milder sweetness yet amazing pipe ability of this frosting. This frosting can be made a week in advance. Store in an airtight container in the fridge. And before using, allow frosting to sit at room temperature for 30 minutes and then re-whip with hand whisk until fluffy. It's time to assemble our cake. Trim the top of the cake to make sure the layers is nice and flat. Don't throw away the top. You can crush them in a food processor for garnish. Place the first layer on a cake board. Pipe 1 cm thick frosting on top. Add the second layer of cake. Repeat the same process. Make sure everything is even and straight. Then place the cake in the fridge for about 30 minutes to let the filling harden so the top layer doesn't sliding around. Then for the crumb coat, it's basically just a thin layer of frosting that we are going to apply to the top and the sides of the cake before we do the swirls finish on the outside. It doesn't have to be perfect. Chill the cake again for about 20 minutes. And lastly, using one empty, pipe the swirls around the cake. And some garnish on the top. Deliciously moist, earthy, and not overly sweet. With its vibrant red hue and tantalizing ermine frosting, perfect if you want to bake your way into someone's heart. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone!